In the land of opportunities, county number 014, that is where we are pitching camp today and tomorrow. And I can tell you for sure, a different key person already put their ducks in the row in readiness for tomorrow. And that is what you're set to navel gaze in the next 14 minutes. Just looking at what this means for this county and this region by extension, seeing the fact that this is the first national celebration in Embu County. And for the same, I have created FaceTime with Paul Rotich, who is the Regional Commissioner, Estern Region. Bwana RC, karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya, live on KBC Channel 1.
Asante sana. Yes.
Now, before we just get to what tomorrow is all about and how the county has prepared itself, and by extension, the region, we know Embu County, county number 14, with key crop production. Talk about tea, talk about macadamia, nuts, coffee. Just talk to us about the status of this kind of production in this county.
Good. First, let me say everyone is welcome for tomorrow's function. We are ready to host all the visitors and all the local population. Embu is one of the counties in Eastern region. To be precise, we have 8 counties. And Embu is one of the counties which is largely agriculture based. We produce coffee, we produce tea, we are in livestock production, we are in macadamia and other traditional crops. Over the years, we've experienced a mix of fortunes for our farmers, especially those who does cash crop farming. I'm talking of tea and coffee. I think the farmers have experienced fluctuating experience, and at times they've faced discouragement because of the incomes they get from the crop farming. But currently, government is initiating deliberate policies to realize that farmers get returns from their investments. There have been cries about the pricing of macadamia.
Yes.
The local farmers are complaining that they are selling as low as 40 shillings during peak seasons. The national government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and county government, are partnering together to ensure that there is value addition. And by initiating value addition, it will make the crop profitable for farmers and also attract more people into the activity of farming macadamia.
I hear you.
And that means we shall have more people employed in the sector, more incomes, improved livelihood for our people. School-going children can be paid fees by their parents, and generally improve lives of the local farmers and the local communities.
Well said.
Likewise,
Well said.
to the tea and the coffee crops.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And it was very important for me to ask that, because that's what you're talking about, and as you mentioned earlier, they are the pride of this specific county. especially when it comes to exportation. So it was quite important for us to understand where we are in regards to that. Nonetheless, coming to the subject matter now, we're looking forward for the 60th Madaraka Day celebrations tomorrow, since we got internal self-rule in 1963. Perhaps just walk us down memory lane, the memories you have in regards to where we've come from as a country, where we are, and where we're headed in terms of the achievements, the milestones that we've made so far.
Let me first say that a big number of the current population in this country are post-independence population, including myself. If you look at the census, which we have dutifully done every 10 years, it tells you a lot about the population growth. Yes. Likewise, if you look at the rural Kenya currently, compared with the time when we started going to school and up to now, you can see tremendous change in terms of infrastructural improvement, talk of roads, talk of health facilities, talk of school infrastructure, and that tells you something about where we have come from and where we are headed to. We've seen the number of school children growing. We've seen the education institutions expanding, and you realize that government is expanding infrastructure and social services facilities to ensure that we accommodate the growing population. Largely, we can say that the successive governments have done a lot for our population, and that is one thing that we should be proud of as a nation, and as the people of this country, and as Kenyans. I think that calls for us to support every initiative that government does towards improvement of the lifestyles of our people. And from where I sit, yes, I want to say that I'm proud of being a Kenyan. And I'm proud of our government, the successive government that we didn't serve, and the ones that we've served. They have done us proud.
I hear you.
Yes.
But then the issue of disease burden, the question of poverty as well. These have been some of the key issues that successive governments have tried so much and so hard to deal with. Yes, you did say that good number of us, we are post, that period. But from your track and from what you've seen so far, how have we been able to manage these two key issues, for instance?
Let me start by saying this. Upon independence, there were three enemies of development that the Insertional Paper number 10 of 1965 outlined. There was the ignorance, there was the illiteracy, and the poverty. Those were the three areas of focus by the independent government. And that does not change up to date. Of course, we have to appreciate that we have had a mixture of fortunes. We've given ourselves deadlines towards meeting those the deadlines for eradication of the three enemies of development. In some instances, we have missed, and for every experience that every government undergoes, there is always an attempt to come up with new policies of addressing the three phases. The universal healthcare coverage is geared towards addressing the issues of disease burden. The concept is that every Kenyan should access affordable healthcare, and that is a good move for us as a nation. Of course, we appreciate that we still have a big number of our brothers and sisters who still live below poverty line. But if you look at what we've been doing right from the KANU governments, the NA government, the PNU government, the Jubilee government, and now the UDA, you realize that there have been deliberate programs which have been put in place towards addressing this. For example, we've initiated the Women Enterprise Fund. At first, during the KANU period, there was the Rural Development Enterprise Fund. And then come the NA government, we brought in other programs, the Women Enterprise Fund, the Youth Enterprise Fund, and so many other similar funds. Apart from that, the first initiative towards devolution came through the introduction of the CDF, where money was dispersed to the constituencies. And if you look at what CDF has done, you realize that they have invested heavily. Before, of course, devolution, they invested heavily in health and security and education. After devolution, the CDF pulled back because it is a devolved function. And all these programs are geared towards fighting the three enemies of development, which was
illiteracy and poverty.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've experienced quite a number of opportunities. We've made successes. We continue to aspire to do more.
I hear you.
The Vision 2030. If you look at the Vision 2030, it captures all the spheres of our society and all the programs that the government is intended to implement.
Well said, RC.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm hearing you say is that, yes, there could still be some underlying loopholes, but there's something to celebrate come tomorrow. When you look at the history and the milestones that we've marked so far, since 60 years, since 1963, I should say. Right. So now, this celebrations will be taking place in Embu County tomorrow. The first celebration of its kind in this specific county. Just talk to me about the preparations that have gone into making this day a success tomorrow.
Let me say that apart from Embu in Eastern region, Machakos and Meru have had an opportunity of hosting national celebrations.
Yes.
We want to appreciate the decision that was made to bring this celebration to Embu. We've been preparing over the last 6 months, and it has brought us to where we have reached. In the last 17 weeks, there was nothing actually on the ground. The real work of preparing the function began 17 weeks ago. We didn't have the stadium. We didn't have the nice roads that we have done. We didn't have refurbished government residential quarters that you have seen. So what this means is we've sacrificed a lot in terms of time, in terms of resources, in terms of planning, in terms of those who travel from far to ensure that all is well for this day. We've had three layers of committees actually who've participated in the whole exercise. We've had the National Steering Committee, which is chaired by our peers in Lyria, and the Technical Committee below it, and several other subcommittees that were tasked to ensure that all the sectors are done. So we appreciate everyone. I would not say I did it alone. It has been teamwork. It has been a multi-agency approach, and we are proud for what we have done, and we are ready for the event tomorrow.
Indeed.
Yes.
This mean, especially when you look at the development projects, not just in the county, but even with the neighboring other counties, like the region by extension. You just did talk about roads, you did talk about the stadium, the State Lodge, for instance, and quite a significant amount of money has been poured to this. What does it mean in terms of development in that regard?
Development aside, I want to say that the thought of devolving national celebrations was a beautiful thing that came to us. At first, all celebrations were done in Nairobi.
Yes.
And over the years, we've seen counties hosting this celebration, except with Jamhuri Day. And every county that has hosted this celebration has seen an improvement in the infrastructure of their capitals. And this means that government is being brought to us. The celebration does not belong to the people of Nairobi. It belongs to us as Kenyans.
Yes.
And it is unifying us as a nation. We are feeling a sense of nationhood as a country. And that is a positive thing for this country. You can imagine the kind of investment that we've done and the changes that we have brought to Embu, for example. We had a trade exposition, which lasted for a week. That ran from 26th to yesterday. It's brought a lot of opportunities for the young population. It's brought a lot of opportunities for businesses. It brought a lot of opportunities for employment, and it's good for us as a nation. Because what it means is that we are hosting today, the next celebration will be somewhere else. And we shall move there as a country.
I hear you.
And you can see the beauty of it, that it brings us together as a nation. Apart from improvement in the infrastructure, it is bringing us as a nation, the sense of nationhood can be felt by all of us. And that is the good thing for us.
Well said. Say that, just help me understand in this sense. What then would you say to some quarters who would still feel that to some extent this could just be using money from national government, yet we have monies in the county which could equally do that task? For instance, you've talked about the different development projects that counties would benefit as a result of having these celebrations. What would you say to this section of Kenyans who would think in such a manner?
When national days like this come to a county,
yes,
we cannot segregate and say this is for county government and this is for national government.
Okay.
It's for Kenyans.
All right.
And the investment that is done to ensure that we have a successful shere, a successful celebration, is done by both national and county governments. and agencies of government. Like, for example, if it is roads, there is Kura, there is Kena, there is Kera. All these agencies come together. Counties cannot perform functions which are not devolved. It is a responsibility of national government.
Okay.
And in areas where the functions are shared, both levels of government share the investment. So to us and to most Kenyans, we are not misusing money. When we build a road, when a stadium is put up, it's for public use. How does misappropriation or misuse of money comes? It will be left for the people of that particular place for use, for now and in the future. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Well said. So now we are expecting key dignitaries, key important persons tomorrow. Who are these persons that you're expecting in readiness for tomorrow's preparation?
The most important dignitaries is me and you.
The Kenyan.
The Kenyan. Okay. Yes. Of course, we shall be led by His Excellency the President, but he's a Kenyan. He's one of us.
Yes.
So this function is for us. It's for us Kenyans. It's not for any other person. So every other person is a guest tomorrow.
A guest.
Yes.
It is our function as Kenyans. We are almost due for a break, Regional Commissioner, but before we get to do that, the exhibition took place last week, beginning on Friday when it was opened by the President, culminated yesterday on Tuesday, closed by the Deputy President. Just talk to me about this exhibition and of what significance was it for the sake of tomorrow.
You must be aware that we are implementing the bottom-up economic development blueprint. And if you look at that exposition, you realize that we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of talent. We have a lot of innovation. The exercise actually was an opportunity for us to learn. It was an opportunity for us to market. It was an opportunity for us to develop.
Okay.
And it was an opportunity for us to showcase what we can do as a people and what we can do as Kenyans.
Yes.
So we were impressed by the kind of the talent that can be displayed, that was displayed by our people, the young population. And it was an opportunity for those in business, those who are startups, and the people were selling. And I think similar activities should accompany celebrations in future. Yeah, so that we feel what a person from Mombasa has, what a person from Kisumu has for us, and we can share, and we can sell. Yeah, and we can develop as a nation. Yes.
Very quick breather, but as we do so, when we come back, I want us to look at how you're also leveraging on the theme for this celebration, looking at MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises. How are you leveraging on that for the benefit of the county and by extension the region? And also look at some of the key issues the region faces. Look at food security, look at insecurity in the region as well. So better ways and solutions to deal and handle that for the betterment of the region. We look at that after this breather, clearly indicating to you that there's still quite a lot to discuss after this short break, so don't go anywhere, stay with us. Thank you very much for your valued company. We continue apace with our conversation, still holding court with the Estern Regional Commissioner, that is Paul Rotich, and we are just navel-gazing on the preparations for Madaraka Day celebration, how the county and by extension the region has prepared itself for this specific celebrations. Before we took that break, Regional Commissioner, we are talking about the theme for this specific celebrations. Now, we all know that this particular regime has centered national celebrations around the 5 key thematic areas depending on the celebrations. For this particular one, we're talking about MSMEs, which is a key pillar on the 5 pillars of this government: micro, small and medium enterprises. Talk to me about how you are leveraging on that as a county and by extension as a region to achieve this.
Let me start first by saying during the exposition,
yes,
we hosted slightly more than 200 exhibitors. This is a huge number of exhibitors who came over. It had an impact in this in this small or big town.
Yeah.
And for 5 days that they were here, definitely there is an impact in the form of money circulation. And if you look at the opportunities that were there, it's massive. Yes. The opportunities were massive. What we want to encourage the business community is to make use of the opportunities that are being availed by government. I want to point out the issue of development of industrial parks. These are areas where value addition are intended to be carried out. And these are businesses which should exploit on that policy line that's being brought in by the government. Value addition means a lot to the business person. It means a lot to the country, especially for items meant for export. And at the initial time when we were started this interview, we talked about macadamia.
Yes.
And that is an opportunity now for macadamia farmers to now do value addition for their products. So it's a whole range of opportunities for the small and medium enterprises.
All right.
Yeah. Going back to the locals now, my appeal to them is we've had an opportunity. We've had a learning experience. We've had experiences. We have shared experiences with the rest of our business communities. It is a great moment for them to utilize the chances that have been created for them to further their aspirations.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, I just want us to bit and look at one of the key pertinent issues, especially in this region. As a regional commissioner for the Eastern region, not just specifically Embu County, there's been the concern of food insecurity. Embu is one of those counties that have been categorized in the normal drought phase by NDMA. Looking at Embu, I'm looking at Tharakanithi, I'm looking at Meru as well. There's also Isiolo and Marsabit, just some of those counties. Talk to me about some of those solutions from just where you sit that perhaps you can proffer to deal with some of these issues. ailing some of the counties within the region?
I think for the last 2 years, a huge part of the country has not been receiving adequate rainfall. For sure, that has brought us to where we are in terms of food insecurity. Okay. For livestock rearing counties, they lost massively. The drought, and it will be very hard for them it will take time for them to recover. Similarly, for the farming community, crop farming, they have not done well as well. Of course, we blame this on failure of rains, and you realize that we are almost 100% reliant on rainfall in crop farming. It may not be 100% per se, but we are close there. I think apart from the irrigation, few irrigation projects that we have, we are heavily reliant on rain-fed agriculture. Okay. We've not exploited on irrigation element of it, and going by what all of us know, over a period of a few years, I think our government has been spending a lot in construction of dams as a sure way of ensuring that crop farming it ensures that we realize adequate food for all of us. Okay. So irrigation farming is a way out, and of course we need to be more sophisticated, even in the event that we still using the rains for crop farming. I think we need to be a little bit sophisticated in terms of educating our farmers. And I think that over the years, I think that we've failed in that line. Next has been wanting. And at some point, I think we lost it, because we've given all attention to maize production. And it's like Kenyans, we believe only that maize is food. We've forgotten the traditional crops of sorghum, we've forgotten cassava, we've forgotten millet, and the cowpeas, and that range of traditional crops, which of course are drought resistant. So I think we need to go back there. Go back to extension, reform extension services, impress upon our farmers that maize alone is not food. We still have other varieties of crops.
Go to indigenous production.
Yes, and which are resistant to crop to drought. Okay. Of course, you realize that government is spending a fortune in procuring fertilizer for distribution to farmers. I think that is part of the sophistication I was talking about.
I hear you well
yes.
said.
Yes.
And I can tell you for sure there's quite a lot in the matters of insecurity as well as substance and drug abuse and the impact this might be having in the county and in the region. Nonetheless, you have to cap it at this particular point, Regional Commissioner. So I want us to do that by you telling Kenyans specifically what message would you be having for them in readiness for tomorrow, now that you said this is an event for you and I as a Kenyan. We are the important dignitaries of this event. What message do you have for them very quickly as we wind down?
I want to say this. I've been in public service for 26 years. I've traversed this country. serving Kenyans. We have a beautiful country. We have lovely people. For tomorrow, I want to welcome everyone to Embu. We are ready for you. And we've done good preparations, necessary preparation. You will feel at home tomorrow. And the people of Embu loves visitors. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Valuable inputs into this discussion. Also just walking us down where we've come from, telling us what you can remember and what we need to be celebrating come tomorrow. And also, filling us in on the kind of preparation you have had to take to just ensure that these celebrations become a success tomorrow. We appreciate that. Thank you, Regional Commissioner. Paul Rotich, the Regional Commissioner, Estern Region, has been my guest for the past 40 minutes, just looking at where we are as a country for the past 60 years since we commemorated internal self-rule and what this will mean for you and I as a Kenyan come tomorrow for the 60th Madaraka Day celebration. Good place to end this conversation, but Good Morning Kenya definitely does continue. Handing you over back to Victor in studio.